this doesn't look like much right now, but we'll get to that. What you're seeing is the beginnings of a game that's in production, and we are aiming to release a prototype sometime soon, maybe April. And I would want as many of you guys to test it as possible and give both feedback and say whether or not you'd be interested in this kind of game. Right now, it's not anywhere near what it would be in the prototype, but you know, at the same time, you can see sort of what's in the game. So we're gonna go ahead and go through the steps to generate a room. So you can see there's walls, there's floors. Now there will also be some aesthetic changes. There'll be dirt and grime on the floor tiles. You'll have chains hanging off the walls, maybe some cracks in the walls, basically to make everything look a little bit more interesting. We'll also have enemies in the game, which we can spawn in like this currently, and they wouldn't be necessarily running after you like a clump like this, but they would be running after you, and then you can attack them. The sound is temporary. We're gonna basically have a similar sound, but without the metallic string sound. That looks very primitive right now. That's just what game development looks like in the beginning. But in the final, or at least in the prototype, we'll have you can dash backwards and forwards because you can find like these gems that give you special abilities. You can also have shurikens and bombs. There will be hearts on the screen, and so on. This dungeon is randomly generated, so there are different rooms. Now, if there's enemies in the room, the door will actually have well, it'll have a door. It won't just be a doorway, it'll have a locked door. And so every time you enter a new room with enemies in it, you don't enter into the room in the same way as you see here, but rather you see a keyhole. You see like the door with the keyhole, and you can look through the keyhole and sort of look around the room without being in it, see where the enemies are, and you set up what we call an initiation attack. An initiation attack is sort of where you choose to bounce from the doorway to this point in the wall, and then to another point in the wall, and to another point in the wall. You set these points up, and then you push a button, and your character will just go and jump between all the different points. And if there are any enemies in the path that you jump between, it'll either damage or kill the enemy. And so the initiation attack is sort of a strategic part of the game. And the whole game is a balancing act between that stage and real-time combat between enemies that you just fight like that. You'll find that you can get different items that either support you more in the real-time combat or the initiation attack. You have limited action points, for example, in the initiation attack, and certain weapons will give you more action points, but have less damage or less attack range, or both. Whereas other weapons will do more damage or have special abilities in real-time combat, but they will give you fewer action points to use in the initiation attack. You'll also find that certain items can be used in the initiation attack, but not real-time, and vice versa. And the items that can be used in both will usually have a weight one way or the other. So they might do more damage in one area of the game. So the initiation attack, for example, will have shurikens that do more damage. you want to focus more on the strategic part of the game. But then you can pick up something like a gem that gives you a dashing ability to make you dash forwards or backwards to help you be more agile in real-time combat. We also have a very silly jump implemented right now, which I find hilarious. Look at that. It's fucking funny as hell. Yeah, so the game's kind of silly. The final game will have silly humor and so on. You can see the hitbox is not registered correctly because they hit the enemies that are lying down. In the prototype, you'll see that you can also hit these enemies once more, and they'll disappear and poof in smoke, and they might drop something. They are basically sandbag people. So that's quite fun. We also have different weapons. If I regenerate a room here. You'll see that these weapons are much quicker, but they do less damage. So it takes a lot more hits to get it done, and the range is also significantly lower. We also have another weapon. The weapons are randomly generated currently, so we're kind of just relying on RNG. This is, speaking of G, this weapon is called a G, a JI basically. It's a very slow attack rate but high damage weapon. It has long range as well and will apply knockback. It doesn't currently apply knockback, but it will. This does far more damage than anything else. Sorry about the lag every time I generate, that's just the nature of the beast. So, we plan to have a lot of changes from what you're seeing now, obviously. And it should be quite a fun game to play, even in its prototype stage. The aim is to get enough people to say that they want to play the final version, so that we can get funding for it from the Norwegian government and make a game. That would be really cool. If that fails, maybe crowdfunding or private investors would be the way to go, but I guess we'll see. So that's more or less the current state of the game. And I think it's quite fun. It's fun to see your own creation come to life. I say my own creation, but obviously I'm not the only person working on this game. I am the game designer, and I will also be doing the sounds. But I have a programmer in Sweden and an artist in Poland who are also working on this game currently. You'll see that the main character has some Asian influence. She is based on mixed ASMR, which you should definitely check out. Links in the description. But yeah, mixed ASMR will be the main voice actor for the character that you're seeing in front of you. And she's incredible, so she deserves a subscription from me if you haven't already subscribed. If this is the kind of thing that you're into, roguelite, it'll be in the same vein as The Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Nuclear Throne, that kind of thing, but it's melee first and foremost instead of ranged, and secondly, it has that initiation attack, which I think will change the dynamic of the game and alter the focus from just being a bullet hell game to being a game where the difficulty is not in chaos, but rather in a balancing act between two types of offense. Two types of offense. I don't know. I think this is kind of exciting to see. I'll be making another video on this game when we have more to show. right now it's kind of bare bones, but I didn't want to wait any longer. I think it's kind of cool. So if you're wondering what I do in my free time, part of it is designing this, but I don't do very much, to be quite honest. The designing part is kind of the beginning, and then I test, I report bugs, I alter minor things. I don't do the bulk of the current work. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to slap that like button. I don't know, but please tell me if you did like the game. If you'd like to see more, please tell me, because that's why I made the video. So